Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT. This is WWE 2K24 Universe Mode episode 246, and tonight we come to you live from East Garden City, New York. Welcome to the show, folks. I'm Callum, otherwise known as the KO King. Welcome to KO Productions and welcome to the final NXT before NXT TakeOver Deadline this weekend. Gonna be an awesome show as always, folks. Let's waste no further time and get straight into the action. Here we go, man. Let's get to work. And tonight we're kicking things off with the new #1 contender for the NXT Championship. The man that earned the opportunity last week by defeating the inaugural NXT Champion Keith Lee and gave Keith Lee a spot in the Deadline Gauntlet this weekend. But this man challenging one-on-one for the NXT Gold at Deadline this weekend. It's the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov.
Making his way to the ring from Moscow, Russia, weighing in at 187 pounds, Ilya
Dragunov
Dragunov.
has a day of destiny with NXT Champion Carmelo Hayes this weekend at TakeOver Deadline with the NXT title hanging in the balance. It'll be a first time ever encounter between those two superstars, and I'm very intrigued to see what will happen at that night. But I'm also very intrigued to see what will happen tonight, because not just Dragunov, but also Carmelo Hayes will be in action in tonight's main event, and they have picked each other's opponents to get ready for both men to get a warm-up before the main event of TakeOver Deadline this weekend. Of course, also coming up at Deadline this weekend, two gauntlet matches, one for the man, one for the woman. The winner of both become #1 contenders for the respective NXT men's and women's championships following Deadline. Now you see the Mad Dragon, he beat Keith Lee last week. Former NXT Cruiserweight Champion is this man. Going to become the next NXT Champion at Deadline. He's first got to get through his opponent tonight, selected by the champion himself, Carmelo Hayes. And it's no surprise who Melo selected. His best friend and the man he recently defeated in triple threat action by rolling him up to retain the NXT title, also featuring the ring general Gunther. It is Trick Williams. Dragunov and Trick about a showdown live tonight on NXT in New York City.
His opponent from Columbia, South Carolina, weighing in at 205 pounds, Rick Williams.
There you see Trick Williams then, ladies and gentlemen. He has had 3 opportunities at the NXT Championship in the last 2 months, I believe. Maybe even the last month. TakeOver Vengeance Day, he lost to Gunther in what was scheduled to be that show's main event, but then after the fact, Carmelo Hayes cashed in his Money in the Bank contract with the NXT side of things that he won back at TakeOver Battlegrounds at the start of the series. Well, not really the start of the series, but midway through kind of point of the series. Beat him there, defeating Gunther for the gold. Beat Trick in a singles match as well, and then Gunther and Trick in a triple threat match a couple of weeks ago. Tonight, Dragunov now is the #1 contender after last week defeating Keith Lee. He's going one-on-one with Trick Williams to open up the show live in New York. Rod's up, rings the bell. Here we go. Matchup is now officially underway. The final NXT show before Deadline this weekend. Of course, the night after Deadline, we'll be seeing the Royal Rumble premium live event take place as well, folks, with 30 men and 30 women fight out for the opportunity to main event WrestleMania and go after the branch champion of the grandest stage in them all. We are fastly approaching the road to WrestleMania, and we're fastly approaching the end of this 2K24 series. It has been a pleasure. It has been an incredible fun ride here in this series. It'll all be coming to an end very soon. We'll be taking a break before we return with our 2K26 Universe Mode series as Trick Williams takes the fight to Dragunov in the corner. Big kick there by Trick Willie. And we talk about Dragunov being a former NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Let's talk about Trick Williams being the inaugural NXT Cruiserweight Champion of this series. Both these men have never faced off one-on-one before though, folks, as Trick won the inaugural Cruiserweight title back at TakeOver Stand and deliver our first TakeOver event, winning a triple threat match, including Swerve Strickland and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And it was Trek Williams who lost the gold to J.D. McDonough at TakeOver Battleground the same night where Carmelo Hayes in the opening match, the previous match before Trex lost to J.D. for the Cruiserweight title, where Melo was able to win the Money in the Bank contract for the men's side of the NXT brand. And it was Ilya Dragunov who won the Cruiserweight gold from J.D. and Dragon Lee in a triple threat matchup back at TakeOver Great American Bash. He lost the gold to Santos Escobar on an NXT show close to TakeOver Vengeance Day and lost his rematch at Vengeance Day to Santos in that one. Santos, the current Cruiserweight champion, he'll be defending that gold at Deadline against the winner of an number one contenders match, but it's still to come. And he'll be following this match with Dragunov. Big overhead exploder off the top, only getting a 1 count on Trick, who's fighting back here in this one. Nice drop kick, got him in the jaw. You got to imagine the NXT champ Carmelo Hayes really looking at this match, seeing how his boy Trick does against the man who challenged him for the gold this weekend at Deadline as this one continues. We're back live on NXT. Trick Williams now flying clothesline, digging down the Mad Dragon and making him fall all the way to the corner. And we saw Dragunov earlier on do an exploder off the top. Now it's Trick Williams' turn to get a big opportunity now to get some big momentum going in this one. Here goes Trick off the top. Superplex by Williams. Crashing down goes Ilya Dragunov. Trick now in for the cover. Hook in the leg. Shoulders down. Well, let's do it here. 2 count. No, not enough yet. Almost getting the job done was Trick Williams. Almost beating the number one contender for the NXT Championship. Trick has had 3 opportunities for the gold. He's been unsuccessful in all 3, being pinned each and every time. One of which including a triple threat match. Well, of course, you don't need to be pinned or submitted to lose in that fray. But Trick did. Trick trying to climb his way back up the ranks. What a great way to do so. The knockoff, the new number one contender for the gold. But Dragunov, massive knee, connecting on Trick. Knife edge, chopped out by the Mad Dragon. And now picking him up. Look at the strength here. Massive powerbomb by the Tsar. Ilya now in for the cover for the win here in NXT. Legacy hook shoulders down to get the win here. 2 count, kick out by Williams. Both former Cruiserweight champions. Both men aspiring to be the big faces of NXT and be a main champion here. It could be Trick putting away the number one contender. Massive Uranagi by Williams. Cover here, shoulders down. Oh my, only a 2 there. Ilya able to stay in this. Dragunov able to stay alive. Great contest. The kick is off. Trick Williams has been a prominently featured star of the NXT brand, one of the most consistent performers of this series, but he always comes up short in the big matches. Can it be different here with Dragunov? Who knows, but Ilya fighting back against Trick. Look at this incredible unique offense from the Mad Dragon. Into a bridging pinfall now. Nicely done by Ilya. 2 count on Trick and a near fall as this one rolls on. We're back live tonight from East Garden City, New York. Ilya Dragunov off the middle rope again. Comes up short, much like earlier on. And Trick's gonna capitalize. Off the ropes. Trick shot. Massive knee to the jaw. Dragunov. Cover. 2 count for the win here. No. Very close call. Would have been a massive win for Trick to knock off the number one contender for the NXT title. Of course, Dragunov will be main eventing against Carmelo Hayes this weekend at Deadline for the NXT title in the main event. As well as 2 gauntlet matches, the NXT Women's title on the line, the Cruiserweight title and the North American title all up for grabs as well. We've still to figure out the number one contender for the Cruiserweight gold. And we know the Women's title will be on the line as Rhea Ripley uses her rematch against Lyra Valkyrie after losing the gold at Evolution to Lyra. And Matt Riddle, who lost his North American title last week on NXT to Austin Theory, will be getting his rematch at Deadline this weekend for the gold as well. And we've got Dragunov just going to send Trick into the barricade. And heading hard back first goes Trick. Dragunov firmly in control here. Trick on the outside. Ilya looking to fly and take him out. Ahead of Deadline and a toe base suicida by the Mad Dragon Dragunov. But if Trick wins this, you got to imagine maybe he gets added to that matchup, making it another triple threat for the gold and Trick getting another opportunity at the NXT title. But Trick Williams down and out. Oh, in the mat there. Massive knee to the back by Dragunov. Really took a lot out of Trick. That may do it right there. Cover leg and took shoulders down on Trick. Scoring 2 here. Dragunov almost able to secure the victory in your opening matchup. But a kick out there by Trick Williams. And now Trick in trouble here. Nice senton by Dragunov. Second one connecting. Big flying through the air. Moving it the way that time. Crashed and burned. Hitting his head. Trick Williams now Small package for the win. Trick Willie scoring 2. Don't get an upset here. A kick out by the number 1 contender for the NXT title. It's Dragunov. Big kick upside the top of the head, and Amelia runs it over! Runs down with the torpedo Moscow! Cover! Dragunov for the victory! Leg is hooked, shoulders down, scoring the 2 and a near fall once again! Trick Williams somehow staying alive. Great battle tonight live on NXT from East Scotland City, New York. And I've seen this before from Mad Dragunov. He is pulling out all the stops tonight to send the message to the NXT champ Carmelo Hayes. Here goes Dragunov now with Coast to Coast. Perfectly connecting there was Ilya Dragunov. And for the cover now, no, not covering. Dragunov gonna let a final shot and an H-bomb to a grounded Trick Williams. One final shot made, do it for Trick in this one. Dragunov to send a message to Hayes. No, Trick kicks out again. An incredible resilient competitor is Trick Williams. Somehow stayed alive off the H-bomb. He's kicked out of an H-bomb as well as a torpedo Moscow as well as coast to coast. Came up short with that running knee or the flying knee from the middle rope. Trick catching him with a cyclone kick, picking him up now to a vertical base. Dragunov in trouble, swinging, neck breaker by Trick. Massive win here. Melo Hayes would love it. If the number 1 contender gets beaten right here by Williams. 2 count kick out by Dragunov. What a match. To kick us off on NXT. The crowd at East Scotland City, New York, loving every second of the action as my Trick off the top, massive splash cover again. Trick for a massive win over the number 1 contender and another near fall. Dragunov again stays in it. Holy hell, man. What an incredible physical battle tonight between these two incredible superstars of NXT. Trick Williams really coming into his own, but as we mentioned, always seems to come up short in the big time matches. But Ilya Dragunov, after being a former Cruiserweight champion, wants to climb up the ranks and be an NXT champion. And Trick Williams not wanting that to happen, neither does Trick's best friend and her current NXT champion Carmelo Hayes. Trick off the apron, missing the senton, and that's going to come in crucial for Dragunov perhaps. Wastelocker now going to send them back into the ring with authority. Ilya Dragunov now heading up high. Tippy top rope. Trick in trouble. Doesn't want to be there. Trick getting to his feet on one knee here. Dragunov bang, elbow right upside the top of the head. Nothing fancy, but it's damn sure effective as Trick runs then flying clothesline by Trick Williams. Picking up Dragunov now. Can Trick put him away, running in with an STO. Trick Williams all over Dragunov in this one. Melo Hayes going to be watching this, but he's also going to be prepared because Dragunov has also selected an opponent for Melo Hayes tonight for the main event of the evening. Cannot wait for that one, but right now it's Ilya Dragunov heading off the ropes and a massive clothesline. Rebounded off the ropes, perfectly connecting 2 count on Trick, and somehow Trick kicks out again. Dragunov doesn't know what the hell he has to do here to put down the incredibly resilient Trick Williams, who mows him down now. Big shoulder tackle Trick now. Oh, we've seen this before, floating over with it, and a Uranagi down goes Ilya. Cover. Trick to put down the number 1 contender ahead of deadline this weekend, and that was so close. The closest you could possibly get to a win there for Trick, but not to be just yet. Kicking out is Dragunov, and middle rope now is Trick with the elbow. But somehow Ilya on his feet like it's nothing, and clotheslines him to the floor. Dragunov has already flew in this match. He's going to fly off the apron now with a senton. Certainly does love his sentons as Ilya Dragunov now face chopped by Ilya multiple times on the outside as he sends Trick back into the ring. Doesn't want a count out situation to happen tonight in your opening matchup of East Scotland City, New York's edition of NXT this evening. Trick running in STO once more. Trick now picking him up. Big kick caught by Dragunov. That is not good for Trick Williams. Ilya Dragunov now. Missing that knee face chop. Trick drop kick. Certainly didn't miss that one. But Dragunov back to a vertical base. Oh, there's that flying clothesline. This time by Dragunov. Trick's in trouble. Let's see what you're going to mount here. Big stomp on the arm. Really wanting to put this match away. Now Trick in trouble again. German suplex. And a message sent to NXT champ Carmelo Hayes, sending a statement here. It's Dragunov out of the corner now. Torpedo the scout number 2 on Trick. cover, that's gonna do it. Leg hook, shoulders down, scoring 2 and Dragunov victorious ahead of his NXT title matchup this weekend against Carmelo Hayes at NXT TakeOver Deadline. What a matchup and what a win for the Mad Dragon. You're dragging off the kickers off live on this special edition of NXT, folks. What a battle. Physical war between these two superstars. I cannot wait for Deadline this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Shrek Williams losing out tonight. But what's going to be going down at Deadline? That man Dragunov battling Carmelo Hayes in the main event for the first time ever for the NXT Championship on the line. Going to be an awesome one this weekend, folks. You don't want to miss it, as well as the action that's still to come here tonight, because coming up in your main event, Ilya Dragunov has selected Cesaro to go one-on-one with the NXT champion Carmelo Hayes tonight in non-title action. Going to be a fun one in your main event, first time ever matchup in its own right. Melo, Cesaro later on tonight, but coming up next we find out Santos Escobar's challenger and #1 contender for the Cruiserweight title this weekend at Deadline. Axiom, with Nathan Frazier in his corner, battles Dirty Dominic Mysterio. It's next live from East Garden City, New York on NXT. Who's going to get the opportunity to challenge Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight crown at Deadline? We find out right here, right now, as it's time to never slow down.
Making his way to the ring, accompanied by Nathan Frazier from Madrid, Spain, weighing in at 154 pounds,
Axiom ready alongside Nathan Frazier in his corner up for Axiom here. Always ready to put on a show, never slow down, and always has that high-flying energy. Perfect for the Cruiserweight division, but taking him on tonight, a former NXT North American champion who looks to add another championship to his collection. It is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Looking forward to this one, folks. Who's going to face Santos at Deadline? Going to be a fun one. It's Axiom, it's Dom, it's next. Let's get to it, folks. #1 contendership on the line.
California, weighing in at 200 pounds, Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Get Dirty Dom earning the opportunity at Deadline. With Frazier in the corner of Axiom, it's going to be a hard matchup. Even Axiom in his own right, it's a hard matchup. Going to be a fun one. It's next live on NXT, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're back live on NXT. There you see Axiom. There you see Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The crowd chant NXT. Ready for this one as Rod Zapata, your NXT official, rings the bell. Here we go. Matchup is underway. Going about tie. Axiom gets the upper hand there. Nice kick. Oh, Dirty Dom got him right in the midsection there. And bam, what a nice strike. Oh, Dirty Dom falling in a heap now. And a nice kick to the leg by Axiom. Caught him again there as Axiom never slowing down. It's for Axiom's mono. But Dirty Dom going to slow him down there with that big boot right upside the head of Axiom. Dirty Dom picks him up. Massive speed. Buster and rolls through now as Dirty Dom. And you got to imagine NXT Cruiserweight Champion Santos Escobar going to be watching on to see who he'll face and defend his championship against that Deadline. It's been a hell of a champion, has Santos Escobar. And for Axiom, looking on here as Frazier rather looking on as Axiom takes flight. Beautiful standing moonsault and a springboard one at that. Cover now. Axiom to get the shot and a kick out by Dom. Just folks, Santos Escobar been a hell of a champion. Defeated the likes of Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, amongst others. Is look at Axiom, my days! Massive drop kick there. Out of the arm drag in the corner, and Dirty Dom going to stop his tracks with a drop kick, but Santos defeating Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde of the LWO, as well as Ilya Dragunov, Austin Aries and Wesley. 5 successful defences for Santos in his Cruiserweight title. Could be 6 come Deadline. But who will he be facing? Will it be Dirty Dom or will it be Axiom? For the gold is right now Dirty Dom taking it to Axiom, just striking away in a neck breaker as he tries to slow down the pace of a much faster Axiom, as this crowd in East Garden City, New York is absolutely all over Dirty Dom, hating his guts as most crowds do. But massive springboard moonsault, incredible talent from Dirty Dom. You got to give the devil his due. He's a credible performer in that ring, and he really takes to Axiom there. Axiom kicking out at 2. It's Dirty Dom now looking to fly here. Beautiful tope, so I see to the outside. This is what the Cruiserweight division is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Dirty Dom sends Axiom back into the squared circle. Dom now comes back in his own right, looking to springboard. No, moving out the way that time is Axiom. And this might be Axiom's opening here. Standing Spanish fly, unreal. And a standing shooting star now. Covering on a deadline. Leg hook shoulders down. Only a 1. My days, the incredible control frenzy here of Axiom is really putting in work against Dirty Dominic Mysterio. It's not often we see Axiom in singles competition. He's usually teaming up with Nathan Frazier, or Nathan Frazier's in a singles matchup, and Axiom getting the opportunity tonight as he missed an Arabian press moonsault. Dirty Dom out of the way. Dirty Dom now. Cruiserweight pin 2 kick out by Axiom. Not enough to put him away just yet. Overhand shot now by Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Knife edge, no blocking it. Nice kicks. Beautiful connection. Axiom DDT. And now it's Dirty Dom rolling to the outside. Could be Axiom's time to fly now and show what his cruiserweight style is all about, and send a message to Santos Escobar. Tope cross body to the floor by Axiom. Incredible there. Who's going to be the number 1 contender to face Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight title? Santos going to be loving what he's seeing here as these two men are put on a show. Springboard frog splash to the lower back on Dom. Axiom covers now. No, only a 1 again. Dom able to kick out at 1 each and every time that Axiom attempts to put this matchup away. Look at that. Springboard cross body now, and a standing shooting star. Dom though getting the knees up and staying in this. And now Dirty Dom able to create some separation. Massive right hand straight. And now Dirty Dom dialing it up with a 619 on Axiom. Dirty Dom comes back in now. Springboard moonsault and a cover. Dirty Dom, they go to the headline. Leg hook shoulders down on Axiom here. Scoring 2. And a kick out as this one continues. Dirty Dom pissed off. He can't put him away. But Axiom still hanging on as Dirty Dom. Oh, just the disrespect there. Showing him his boots, trying to get the dart in the face of Axiom, or in the mask rather, but Axiom fighting back with a Pele kick by Axiom. The incredible cruiserweight star from Madrid, Spain, putting in the work here against Dirty Dominic Mysterio as he targets the leg. And now Axiom got Dirty Dom in the corner. Massive drop kick right in the chest. Out of the corner now. Look at that from Axiom. Unreal offense. They got a deadline. A challenge Santos for the goal. Gets a 2 count this time. And now it's a kick out by Dirty Dom. But Axiom now breaking at the neck now. And now what's Axiom got in mind here? The Arabian press moonsault finally able to connect with it this time. But Dirty Dom able to escape and running neck breaker out by Mysterio. Nathan Frazier cheering on his boy at ringside, but right now it's all Dirty Dom. Axiom though fires right back. Nice counter, nice kick to the leg. And now Axiom picks up the strength of your fireman's carry straight into a submission. Rings a Saturn by Axiom. Incredible, look at this. Axiom got Dirty Dom in all sorts of trouble here. Dirty Dom in trouble. Submission, oh, will he tap out if he does? Axiom's got a deadline to challenge Santos for the Cruiserweight title. Oh, but Dirty Dom able to fade out, able to escape. Nice elbows right there at the top of the head and the mask of Dirty Dom, or of Axiom rather, by Dirty Dom. But look at Dirty Dom, speaking of the devil and Dirty Dom. Able to slam him down. Massive spine buster we saw earlier on. Headed up to the top now. Take on a deadline. Frog splash by Mysterio. Cover. Dirty Dom, they got the Cruiserweight title opportunity. No! Kick out by Axiom. How the hell did Axiom stay alive with a frog splash? They'll patent the maneuver by Dirty Dom. Axiom out of nowhere though. Golden ratio super kick by Axiom. They got a deadline to challenge Santos for the gold, and now it's Dom kicking out. Back and forth action. Neither of these men want to give up, never say die attitude from both of these superstars. Axiom though fighting back, clothesline, another clothesline. Catching the leg of Dirty Dom and swiping the other one, and it's Axiom on fire here. Axiom now kicking at the arm now. They stop. Straight back into another. Ring of Saturn. Dom in trouble. That's made do. Will Dom tap out or pass out due to the pain? If he does, Axiom's going to deadline to challenge Santos Escobar for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship this weekend. Rod's a putter right there. And Dirty Dom for the second time able to escape out of the rings of Saturn there. And the Mysterios had enough and a club in the back now by Dirty Dom. Axiom on the outside once again. Dirty Dom may look to fly here. He will. Oh my god, off the top. Massive crossbody. Didn't get all of it, but enough to knock Axiom down on the mat. This is what the Cruiserweight division is all about, ladies and gentlemen. He sends him back into the ring here. It's Dirty Dominic Mysterio looking to take advantage. Springboard frog splash on Axiom. Shoots the half now. Shoulders down. They're going to deadline and challenge Santos for the goal. And another near fall. I'll tell you, man, Santos going to love this watching backstage or watching at home, wherever he is right now, because this matchup is incredible. Both these men want the opportunity big time at the the Cruiserweight title. North American title currently held by Austin Theory, who last week defeated Matt Riddle for the gold in Paris, France. Can't wait for that rematch at Deadline. That is now officially confirmed as well. But right now it's Axiom off the top. Look at this incredible agility by Axiom. Hurricane Rana there. Out of the corner. Axiom looked to finish the job, but wisely Dirty Dominic Mysterio gonna roll to the outside. But Axiom gonna show Dominic all the world what the Cruiserweight division's all about here. Axiom doesn't know exactly what to do, but he's going to keep his foot in the gas pedal, put down Dirty Dom and get the opportunity at the North American title, the Cruiserweight title rather, as Axiom flies again. This time up the top rope with an incredible moonsault to the floor. Crowd loving the action, as am I, as Axiom could very well be in his way to the Deadline to challenge Santos for the Cruiserweight crown. Out the corner now, second title match, here comes Axiom, the golden ratio connecting, cover to put Dirty Dom away. Leg hook, shoulders down, scoring two. No, Mysterio stays. Says it again, you're serious. How the hell is he still in this fight, folks? Unreal action as he went for the Arabian Press moonsault again. But it's Dirty Dom. Gonna stop him in his tracks and a beautiful suplex. Now, the tribute to the late great Eddie Guerrero. Or maybe just paying homage, or maybe just rubbing salt in the wound, but there it is. Three amigos by Mysterio heading up to the top. They're going to Deadline to challenge Santos for the Cruiserweight title. Frog splash by Dom. Cover. Leg hook, shoulders down. Scoring two. And Dominic Mysterio is going to take over Deadline this weekend to challenge Santos Escobar for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. What a matchup tonight between these two superstars. Brought an incredible fight out of each other, and I'm really excited for Dirty Dom versus Santos for the first time ever in this series. One-on-one for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship at Deadline. Could Dirty Dom be on the verge of becoming a double champion in this series? He's already held the North American title before. Can he become the next Cruiserweight champion this weekend? Only time will tell, and it remains to be seen, folks. Incredible action as the show rolls on live from East Garden City, New York tonight in NXT. As Ivy Nile looks to make her NXT debut tonight. She's going one-on-one with a very pissed off and former NXT Women's Champion ahead of a rematch this weekend against Lyra Valkyria for the NXT title. It's Ivy Nile battling Rhea Bloody Ripley next, as though you see our first look of Ivy Nile in this series. And we're 246 episodes in. The first time we get our first look at Ivy Nile tonight. But she's got her work cut out for her, because she's not only facing Rhea Ripley, she's facing a very pissed off and in no mood Rhea Ripley. She lost her NXT Women's title at Evolution to Lyra Valkyria in the opening matchup of that event. Lyra will be defending it against Rhea at TakeOver Deadline this weekend in the rematch, with Rhea invoking her rematch clause. Rhea has a warm-up and she takes on the debuting Ivy Nile. Ivy couldn't have picked the worst time to debut, because here comes the Nightmare, the Eradicator, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Gonna be a fun one on NXT. It comes your way next in your penultimate contest of the evening. The former champ has a warm-up. She battles Ivy Nile next live in East Garden City, New York.
Australia, Rhea
Rhea Ripley had an incredible reign as NXT Women's Champion, holding the gold for 304 days, winning out on an NXT Title Tuesday event by cashing in her NXT Women's Money in the Bank contract that she won back at TakeOver Battleground, defeating the inaugural NXT Women's Champion, the woman that defeated Rhea Ripley to become the inaugural Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. A couple of weeks ago, we were saying was the WWE Women's Champion over on SmackDown. Now she lost the title to the Queen Charlotte Flair and even lost last week in a rematch to Charlotte. No longer the champ, but she will be entering the Rumble this weekend. As Bianca Belair, she could be on the road to get another shot in the main event of WrestleMania and get her championship back. But right now, Rhea Ripley is also determined to get her championship back, wanting to become the first ever two-time NXT Women's Champion. She's going to get past Lara Valkyria at Deadline, the woman she lost to here in this series back in Evolution. But first, she's going to get past the debuting Ivy Nile right here next live on NXT as Rod Zapata rings the bell. Here we go, folks. Matchup is underway. Let's see who Ivy does in her debut. It's not going to be a fun one for Nile as she battles Ripley and gets Satan with that kick right upside the top of the head. Massive roundhouse by Rhea and going to set Ivy planting her face first out of the canvas. My days. Rhea Ripley on fire tonight, folks. Rhea grabbing the leg of Ivy now, just going to soften her up here. Look at Rhea go. All over Nile, but Ivy Nile making her debut. She wants to make a name for herself. What a better name to make if you can knock off Rhea Ripley and your debut in this series. Ivy Nile taking the fight to Ripley here. Look at Ivy, big knees in the corner, and Nile again. Big shots in Ivy Nile here. Look at that head scissors. Rhea Ripley knocked off balance. Nail now. Massive clothesline. Down goes the Eradicator. In for the cover now. For a massive upset on Ripley. Leg hooked only enough for a one. Rhea Ripley saying, hell no, you ain't gonna beat her with that. The former NXT Women's Champion who had 5 incredible successful defenses of her championship and her historic 304-day reign as champion. Of course, the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion to date. There's only been 3 of them thus far. Bianca Belair, the inaugural, Rhea Ripley, the second, and of course Lara Valkyria, the third. And Rhea could be the 4th and first ever two-time champ if things go her way at Deadline. They're certainly going her way tonight as she delivered a tope con hilo on the outside. Not often you see Rhea Ripley fly, but she flies when she feels the need to. She feels determined to get this win tonight and go on to beat Lara in the rematch for the title at Deadline. Cover off the missile, drop kick off the top, leg hook here, no, leg is not hooked, shoulders down, and a kick out at 1. If you hook the leg, it might have been a 2, might have even been a 3, but Ivy staying alive here in her debut. She fights back against the Eradicator here, and this one, a massive kick there, big flipping heel kick by Ivy Nile. Believe I said Lara, but it's Ivy Nile, and there's another clothesline. Down goes Ripley and an elbow drop to the back. And if you guys are enjoying this WWE 2K24 Universe Mode Series, make sure you leave a like for me, subscribe if you haven't already with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss any more. And this fantastic series as Ivy Nile takes flight, tope cross body to the outside, taking out Rhea Ripley on the floor, and look at this. Fighting on the outside, look at the strength of Ivy Nile. She is one of the most powerful women on the roster, as is Ripley. These two women are a match made in heaven. But clearly Rhea Ripley, more experience, more fan admiration, especially here tonight in East Garden City, New York. But Ivy Nile is certainly putting in the fight with Ripley. Beautiful axe handle off that top cover here. 1 count again and another near fall. Ripley staying in it again. But look at that breaker of the neck, flipping neck breaker by Nile. As Nile looks to keep fighting, but Rhea Ripley stops on her track and there's a clothesline. If you guys feel like there's anything I can improve on in this series, don't be afraid to let your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I'm always open to constructive criticism, folks. It helps me grow as a person, helps this channel grow, and helps us grow as a community as well, folks. Anyway, back to this matchup at hand. Rhea Bloody Ripley, Ivy Nile in the centre of the ring. And East Garden City, New York in your penultimate contest tonight on NXT, the final NXT before TakeOver Deadline, where Rhea Ripley gets her rematch to try and regain her NXT Women's title from the one who beat her at Evolution, Lara Valkyria. But Rhea, big kick caught by Nile, caught on the hammy, and it's Ivy Nile heads over out of the corner, looks for something. Rhea Ripley right there though, Big kick caught by the Eradicator. Ripley turns her around and oh god, Ivy Nile's not going to like the view here. Electric chair face first goes Ivy Nile. In for the cover now. Ripley for the victory. Here on NXT. To send the message to Lyra, but it's Ivy who kicks out. Ivy Nile able to stay in it there. Not enough to put her away. It's right now Ivy runs in. Another flipping kick by Nile and Ivy Nile on fire. Big kick to the midsection. Look at Ivy here. Oh, this is interesting here, picking her up. Got a straight jacket. Torture rack. Sensed in on Ripley. She may tap out here. Rod's a putter right there. This could be a massive upset. And the debut of Ivy Nile here in this series. And Rhea Ripley's going to escape. Ivy Nile with a great performance, but Rhea Ripley not having it. And now the Eradicator kick to the midsection. Another kick, this time caught by Nile. Ivy Nile. Massive forearm attack. Look at that waist lock. Get to a Rainmaker. Ripcord Lariat turns Rhea inside out. Scores 2. Oh, kick out. That would have been a massive win. And her debut there from Ivy Nile. A Rainmaker by Nile and could put Rhea Ripley to pastures new here in her NXT debut. Can she knock off the former NXT Women's Champion? Look at this Dragon Sleeper locked in. What's a pattern right there? Will Ripley tap out or pass out due to the pain? If she does, Ivy Nile will secure the biggest win of her career and her first ever matchup here on NXT in this series. Ivy's gonna lock 10. Rhea in trouble, nowhere to go, but Rhea gonna fade out of it. Big knees upside the top of the head by the Eradicator. Rhea Ripley now grabbing her German suplex release style on Ivy. And Ivy was trying to roll out to the crotch, a breather, but again runs in with that big flipping heel kick as Ivy Nile turns her around. A Ripley big elbow and a Rhea with a clothesline. Ivy Nile down and out, but rolling to the outside of the ring. Rhea Ripley had just about enough of Ivy's shit tonight, as she wants to focus her attention on winning back her NXT Women's Championship against Lyra Valkyria this weekend at TakeOver Deadline. Rhea picks Ivy up to a vertical base. Ivy in trouble. Good night, Nile. Thanks for coming, Riptide. But Rhea doesn't seem like she's done just yet with Ivy Nile. Headed up to the top rope and looks to send a message to Lyra Valkyria saying this could be you. Come Deadline. Frog splashed off the top by Ripley. And now one final shot of Nile might do the trick. The Prism Trap submission hold to send a message to Lyra to say, fear me, Valkyria. Fear me at Deadline. I've been in trouble. Nowhere to go. She's going to tap out in her debut. Great showing for Nile in her debut. Don't get me wrong. But she was just tossed into the fire on her first night of NXT. Fed to the Eradicator. And a pissed off one at that, who recently lost her NXT Women's Championship and could be on the verge of winning it back if she shows out a performance like she did tonight against Ivy Nile against Lyra at Deadline. Rhea Ripley victorious. Will she be a two-time NXT Women's Champion this weekend come TakeOver Deadline? Time will tell, and it remains to be seen, folks. But congratulations to Ripley for a big win tonight in her penultimate contest of the evening. For me, Scott in City, New York on NXT. A great performance as well from Ivy now, but let's take a look at the proceedings of what's gonna go down at TakeOver Deadline this weekend. The matchup and the show kicks off with the NXT Tag Titles on the line. The Viking Raiders defend against the Hurt Business, Wesley and Cedric Alexander. Following that, the NXT Deadline Gauntlet for the women will be going down as Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez and Chelsea Green collide for an opportunity at the NXT Women's title and the future. Then after that, the rematch from last week's edition of NXT. Matt Riddle looking to regain his North American title off the man who beat him for it last week, Austin Theory. Championship on the line at Deadline this weekend, and we found out earlier that Dirty Dominic Mysterio is the new #1 contender for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. He will battle the champ Santos Escobar for the gold live at Deadline this weekend. Gonna be a fun contest for the Cruiserweight Championship. Then it's the men's Deadline Gauntlet match. Obafemi, Gunther, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest and Keith Lee. 5 massive men go at it for an opportunity at future NXT Championship shot. And as we just mentioned there, Rhea Ripley looking to regain her NXT Women's Championship off the woman who beat her at Evolution for the gold. It's Lara Valkyria defending against the Eradicator, Rhea Bloody Ripley. And then finally, the NXT Championship up for grabs, and the main event of the evening, Ilya Dragunov challenges the champ Carmelo Hayes for the gold in a first time ever dream match. And your main event at TakeOver Deadline this weekend. But it's now time for your main event of the evening here tonight live on NXT from East Garden City, New York, as the NXT champ goes into a non-title matchup against hand-picked opponent for his opponent Dragunov at Deadline. It's the former North American champion Cesaro. It comes your way next live from NXT for East Garden City, New York. It's main event time here tonight, folks. Here we go.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Boston, Massachusetts, weighing in at 210 pounds, the NXT Champion, Carmelo Hayes!
It was earlier on tonight where the number one contender for the NXT Championship, Ilya Dragunov, was able to defeat hand-picked opponent by Melo Hayes, his best friend Trek Williams. Let's see how Melo does here in this one as he takes on hand-picked opponent from Ilya Dragunov, the man who defeated Ilya on the very first main event of NXT here in this series, a former NXT North American champion and a very formidable opponent, Cesaro. Going to be a fun one, folks. It was, of course, a number of weeks ago where Cesaro teamed up with Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes to battle Imperium, Gunther, Vinci, and Kaiser in a six-man tag team match. Gunther getting the win, pinning Hayes in that six-man matchup, which allowed Gunther to join the triple threat alongside Trick and Melo for the NXT Championship.
From Lucerne, Switzerland, weighing in at 232 pounds, Caesar.
Oh, you see Cesaro then want to get back to winning ways. As we know, after the fact that Imperium defeated Trick, Melo, and Cesaro, Imperium are now no more. It is no longer a three-man group, it is just a two-man team. As Giovanni Vinci has been bumped out of Imperium following the proceedings of last week's edition of NXT Live in Paris, France, as Ludwig Kaiser able to defeat Vinci and kick him out of Imperium. Gunther was getting sick and tired of Imperium's shortcomings and losses. He wanted to fix out the stable, and he wanted to know who the weak link of Imperium was. Turned out to be Giovanni Vinci. Kaiser able to kick him to the curb last week. And now it is just a two-man squad. But tonight it's not about Imperium, it's not about Gunther or Kaiser. It's about Carmelo Hayes, it's about Cesaro, and it's about a warm-up match for TakeOver Deadline as Dragunov and Melo do battle for the gold this weekend. But tonight it's non-title matchup. Former North American champ Cesaro battles Melo Hayes in the main event. And the matchup underway right here, right now. Rosa Paro rings the bell. Matchup underway. Carmelo Hayes coming off to a great start, but missing the mark there as Cesaro looks to take advantage. Waistlock now with a former North American champion, an uppercut to the back of the neck of Hayes. And Cesaro, ladies and gentlemen, we mentioned former North American champion, defeated the megastar LA Knight back at TakeOver Battleground to become the the second ever NXT North American champion. Of course, LA Knight now a part of the Monday Night Raw roster, a former US champion over there, and recently had an opportunity at the World Heavyweight title on which he came up short against champion Aleister Black, who also defeated AJ Styles last night on Monday Night Raw to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in an incredible match from St. Paul, Minnesota. Cesaro off the middle rope, beautiful European uppercut on Carmelo Hayes, who's able to fight back into this one now. Irish Whip going to send them off, and a massive hip toss as this one continues. And Cesaro battles back, and we're back here in NXT. Beautiful drop kick by Cesaro on Carmelo Hayes. Hayes able to roll through. Hayes not getting that shot there that time. But Cesaro fighting back. Oh, Hayes fighting back. Back and forth action. Melo now. Beautiful. Float over another DDT. And now Hayes and control Cesaro on the outside. Here comes the NXT champ now looking to fly. So big con heel on the floor. Taking out Cesaro tonight in your main event from East Garden City, New York. Cesaro able to win the North American title from Knight at TakeOver Battleground, but lost the championship to Dirty Dominic Mysterio And since then, not really been able to recover back to the main event scene. But Cesaro feels like he belongs here in NXT, and most fans feel like he belongs as well, but he's been losing out to big names such as Big Bronson Reed back in a big match at TakeOver Vengeance Day. And of course, lost that 6-man tag with Trick and Mello against Imperium a number of weeks ago. This is his first match since then. Can he knock off the NXT champ in non-title action? Hand-picked opponent from Ilya Dragunov. Is, let's not forget, the first ever episode of NXT main evented by Cesaro and Dragunov doing battle in the first round of the NXT title tournament to crown the first ever champion at WrestleMania. Cesaro beating Dragunov on that night. Dragunov is now the number 1 contender for the gold, and he has picked a man he knows can beat him, so maybe he can beat Mello as well here tonight. Cesaro! Ricola bomb on Hayes. And Cesaro not done by a long shot. Straight into a submission here. Sharpshooter on Hayes to tap out the NXT champion in the main event. Cesaro locks it in tight. Wants to put it right there to see if Mello taps it or passes out due to the pain. And Peter Cesaro will pick up a massive win tonight in your main event, knocking off the NXT champion. Oh, but Carmelo Hayes able to fight out of it though. Able to kick him away as Mello. Able to survive and stay in this one. And now Force 40, yay! Oh, and Cesaro out of nowhere. Cover now. Leg hook, shoulders down, scoring 2. And an air fall there. Man, oh man. And next week, the winner of the Deadline Gauntlets, both from the men's and the women's, will get their opportunity for the NXT Women's and Men's Championships. If Mello or Dragunov and Lyra or Rhea are able to win it, they will defend their championships against the winners of both respective gauntlets next week right here live on NXT. You do not want to miss that. The Cruiserweight title will also be on the line next week as well, folks. And of course, we're going to see some more action as well. You don't want to miss NXT next week. Karrion Kross will be back in action on that edition of the show. Going to be an awesome action next week as it is right here, right now. It's Cesaro taking the fight to NXT champion Carmelo Hayes. And what has been an incredible main event thus far. Cesaro, beautiful drop kick, getting a flurry of offense now against Hayes here in the main event. Cesaro now picking up Carmelo Hayes. Look at the strength here. Gonna turn him around. He calls this the UFO. No hands from Cesaro as he spins him around. Hayes in trouble. Cesaro covers for a massive upset against the NXT champ and a kick out. And you gotta imagine the number 1 contender for the NXT title, Ilya Dragunov, is looking on very closely to see how Cesaro does against the NXT champ, and most importantly, how Mello does against his hand-picked challenge tonight. But look at Hayes. Beautiful suplex cutter combination. Covering Cesaro. Will this be it here? No, it won't. Kicker at 2 by the former NXT North American champion who's looking to break out and become an NXT champion here in the future as well. And what a way to do so by beating the NXT champ here in the non-title matchup tonight as he just ran in with a beautiful corkscrew European uppercut on Hayes. He's getting to his feet. Cesaro looking to put him away here. Here goes the Swiss Superman. Neutralizer by Cesaro. Rolls him over now. Hooking the leg, shoulders down. Kiss Cesaro. Put away the champ here. 2 count. No, and a kick out. And here we are, Dragunov going to be loving this as Cesaro really pushing Hayes to his limit. Hayes pushing Cesaro to his limit. He picked a good opponent in this main event tonight. Live in East Garden City, New York. But Cesaro comes up short with that elbow drop off the top of Mello. Forced to fight back now. Clothesline after clothesline on Cesaro. Kick top. And now sweeping the other one. Now is Hayes. Mello in control here. On Cesaro here in this main event of the evening. Live on NXT. Mello off the ropes. Here comes Hayes now. Look at this. Bang! Face first goes Cesaro. Top rope to put him away. To send the message to his opponent at Deadline Dragunov. Here goes Hayes. Nothing but net. Connecting. Got all of it. Here's the cover. Legacy shoulders down. Mello for the win. 2 count. No! Kick out again. How the hell did Cesaro stay alive after that one? A massive kick out. Incredible power. Incredible resiliency. Showed out from the Swiss cyborg tonight. Mello admiring his handiwork, but Cesaro back to a vertical base. And keeps spinning now against Carmelo here in this main event. Massive shot now. Hayes fighting back, and here we go, folks. We've got a slugfest on deck tonight in this main event from NXT. And East Garden City, New York. Back and forth action. Blow for blow, here's shot for shot as they are trading. Heavy leather offense, heavy leather shots and blows tonight. Live on NXT, and that's main event of the evening. He's able to block, he's able to connect on Cesaro. Cesaro fighting back with a massive right hand. There's Hayes with one of his own. As this matchup is really hitting a second gear tonight. Live on NXT, the man Dragon going to be loving his choice of sending Cesaro here to face Hayes in this main event, as this is what the NXT paying audiences paid to see tonight. Hockey fight. Both these men are putting in a hell of a shift against one another in order to keep the other down. Out of Hayes' defense against Dragunov at deadline. Hayes clearly got the advantage, but not for long. Cesaro, now look at this incredible Tiger Bomb. Cesaro turns him round. Wait a minute. Look at Cesaro here. Look at that set. Hayes in a right. The Cesaro swing. He's going to send him all the way to the cheap seats here in NXT. Look at this. The Cesaro swing on Hayes. Sent him flying. Picks him up. Not done by a long shot. I put down the NXT champ with a pop-up. European uppercut. Cover. Massive upset on hand perhaps. 2 count. No, he survives. What a matchup as we're back live on NXT. Schoolboy by the NXT champ for the win. 2 count. No. Oh man. A thunderous kick out by Cesaro there. But now it's Carmelo Hayes who's seizing up the challenger here for this non-title matchup. But if he wins, he could be a potential challenger for a championship matchup. Drop kick on the outside after Hayes hit a slingshot crossbody on the floor on Cesaro. Now it's Cesaro in control with a slingshot corkscrew crossbody on Hayes now. And now Cesaro on fire. Carmelo Hayes on the outside. Here comes Cesaro. Tope crossbody taking out the NXT champion here at ringside. And now Cesaro. Can he get this match up one here? Can Cesaro do it? Top rope now goes the Swiss Cyborg. Hayes in the drop zone. Don't want to be there. Elbow drop to the chest of Hayes. Cover. Leg hook, shoulders down. Scoring 2. Kick out by Hayes. You gotta imagine win, lose or draw. Will Hayes be 100% ahead of his matchup against Dragunov at TakeOver Deadline this weekend? Or will Dragunov be 100% in that match as well? Remains to be seen, but Hayes just hit first 48 on Cesaro. Cesaro is down and out. Hayes got him in the drop zone. Tippy top rope now. Here comes Carmelo Hayes. Nothing but net. That's gotta be it. Here's the cover. Leg is hooked, shoulders down. Scoring 2. The NXT champion victorious ahead of his defense against Ilya Dragunov this weekend at TakeOver Deadline. What a war. An incredible physical battle which you'd expect out of Cesaro and the NXT champion Carmelo Hayes, but the champ prevails, as I am really incredibly looking forward to his defense in the main event of Deadline against Ilya Dragunov this weekend. It's going to be an incredible weekend of action. TakeOver Deadline followed by the Rumble the day after. You don't want to miss a second of the proceedings right here on KO Productions. But what a matchup that was, folks, and what a show it's been all round. That's all we have time for here tonight live on NXT. From me, Scott, and Sydney, New York. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow for another exciting installment of SmackDown. You don't want to miss that, folks, but thank you once again for joining us. We'll see you soon. Take care, take it easy, and peace.